don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. And we sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman, because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
All righty, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. I'm looking frazzled as ever. Frazzled. I need to go get my hair cut. This is ridiculous. I literally went and had my photo for my picture for my driver's license taken like this. And needless to say, I am not happy. I probably will be going back and being like, I lost my license again once I get my hair cut. I'm going to try to get there tomorrow, because I'm looking like a madman. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. It's been a busy day. I've literally been working since about 6:30 this morning on this House Bill 1186 situation. And I ended last night at about 3:30. So I'm working on about 3 hours of sleep. And it's been a busy day. A lot of pissed off people, a lot of pissed off police officers, full-time, part-time, reserve, tier 1, tier 2. And we got a lot to discuss about this. Number one, listen, I'm looking here at what we've got. We've been putting up some really big numbers the last couple of nights. About the last week, we've been putting up some big numbers during the live show. We put up some pretty big numbers, but a lot of time it's after the show, because a lot of people like to watch in the shadows. But I'm going to tell you. Oh, I can't comment on YouTube anymore. It won't let me. I'll help you out with that sometime, Jeff. I'll message you and get in contact, and we'll get that figured out. I'll try to help you. I apologize for that, but at least you're here. Listen. Do me a favor. We want to get this in front of people's eyeballs a couple different ways. We want to share this show. Share the link. And when you're sharing the link, share the YouTube link. Share the YouTube link, if you will. YouTube is what helps us more than anything at this moment. So if you could share the link with your fellow people, that would be good. If you hit the like, that's going to help put us in front of larger audiences, because it helps the algorithms. And maybe we could get somebody big to see this, or someone that could help us out, because I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen who are concerned with this bill, We have an uphill battle ahead of us. We're in trouble. I'm just going to tell you straight out. We're in trouble with this bill. And I'm seeing a lot of people bitching about it. A lot of people are griping about this on social media. And I'm going to tell you, it's great to help spread the word. I've been using social media to help spread the word, but it's going to do that does nothing. It does nothing. Let me take it a step further. Griping at the state representatives on social media doesn't even help us. I'm going to tell you guys, I've talked to a couple of these state representatives today that were on that committee, and they don't have a clue really what's going on. They are under either I'm gonna put it out here. Hello there, Larry Savage. Thank you for your super sticker. Thank you. You didn't have to give me $5 for me to call you back. I will call you back. I've just been really swamped, but I thank you for the money, and I will return your call too. Listen, I'm going to put it into a couple different categories. I think that there are some of these representatives that were on this committee that are lost and don't understand what's happening, and they're being told one thing and something else quite different's happening. There are some that I think are stupid. I'm just going to say it how it is. And then there are some that aren't stupid, and they know exactly what they're doing, and they're doing it on purpose. And that's bad. That's bad. So listen to me here. We need to be sharing the shit out of this. People need to be hearing this, need to be seeing this. For as many people that are up in arms about this, there should be 60 people here. We had 80 people watching the story about John Sproles from Henry County last night. Kate, we need to be spreading the word. And I'm not saying that because I'm like, oh, I want lots of viewers. We need to spread the word. I'm going to tell you something. I just spoke to a state representative that was in the committee 20 minutes ago. And when I was talking to that state representative said, I have 0 emails in my inbox. I've not heard from anyone. Matter of fact, I'm going to tell you what this state representative said. The state representative said, everyone I've heard is in support of the bill. Everyone I've heard from is in support of the bill. And this state representative told me that they have heard from the Indiana State Troopers, the Troopers Association. They've heard from the Indiana Sheriff's Association. They have heard from the whatever the Chiefs of Police Association is. I forget what that. I forget what it is. It's been a minute, man. But all of those organizations are telling them, yeah, we back this bill. Everything's great. Everything's grand. Now listen, we don't have any troopers in here, do we? We knew the troopers were going to do this. We knew the troopers were going to be like, yeah, because if you don't have that high gloss black belt, okay, with the gold buttons while you're rocking a rhodium badge, the stupidest look of all time. They're supposed to be like basically military, precision, sharp, but yet they're rocking gold buttons being a rookie trooper. I've never understood that. So stupid. Ron Jones, DM me that person. I sent everyone on the committee correspondence earlier this week. Okay, so this is the other thing that we're going to do. I don't. So I am right now. When I heard this from that person, I immediately started working. I will send you this. I will send you that information, Ron. Let me get over here to the comments so I can see the comments. I didn't have the comments up. Okay, there we are. Good. I will send that to you. So let me tell you this. The departments are raising hell. I've seen a lot of departments raising hell about this because the departments know their men and women. They know who's on their roster and they know what it takes. And the departments, the communities are pissed off, are scared shitless. And so they are behind their officers. But it's Joe, that's great. Love the levity, brother. But you know that these associations, specifically the troopers are, you know how they're going to be. But I got to thinking when this representative told me this, it is harder than hell to email your state representatives. They used to individually have all of their emails right there where everybody could see them on the IGA website. They no longer have that. They no longer have that. They have it worked out to where what you have to do is you jump on the IGA website. Matter of fact, we're going to do that right here. I'm going to do that and show you how it looks. You have to jump on the IGA website. Let me ask you, Ron, and you don't have to say the email or give it an email here. I don't care. Did you access it by going to IGA or did you have a specific email? Because here's what I think the problem is. Okay. I think the problem is so many of these state representatives and state senators have it set up to where they are, when you go here and you click on, I want to get out of the senators here. I want to go back to the state house just because we're talking about state house here. So let me specifically go to Stephen. Let me go to Stevens and show you what we're working with here. Okay. So when we go to Stevens, one of our town council attended the meeting this morning and asked to speak the impact of Middletown. They would not allow him to speak his voice in opposition of this mess of a bill. Absolutely, Landon. Absolutely. And let me tell you, they're telling me they all spoke last week. We heard from them last week. Listen to me. You're the state representatives. You're public officials. You're a public servant. Sit down, serve, and listen to what we've got to say. We've heard all that we need to hear. No, you haven't. I'm sorry that you haven't. I have heard from several people who were in attendance today who went to speak, took time out of their lives, took time off to go down and be part of the process, and they were not allowed to speak. What an absolute disservice. Now, I have been attempting to correspond with Stephen here all day. I was attempting to bring him onto the program. I am going to be working on trying to get him to come onto the program. And what I would like is I would actually like to have him and another representative come on the program. And then I would like to have a full-time officer and a reserve officer come on the program. And I'd like to do kind of like a little back and forth and chat. I don't know if they're going to be up for it. I know the officers will. I've got people hand over fist saying, yeah, I'll come on, you know. So I know that the officers are willing. We'll have to see if these people will. So just in a nutshell, Michael Goodman, House Bill 1186, basically, it says that law enforcement officers, number one, they don't have statewide jurisdiction basically anymore if they are tier 2 or under, if they're reserves, and working security. They can't work off-duty security unless they have an MOU with the agency, with the area that they are working security in. So, for example, your Muncie and Delaware County officers or your reserves, Daleville Police, Yorktown, Albany police officers cannot go down and work security for Protection Plus at the stadium for the Colts games anymore, which, you know, a lot of them do to make extra money and, you know, supplement their income, make it possible for them to be able to work for free for the communities, you know. And so it's crazy. But here's what my fear is. My fear is that a lot of people are going to the Indiana General Assembly website here, like Ron said he did. And then you go to, look at this, you go to visit the caucus page or contact my office. So let's click on contact my office, okay? Click on that, all right? That jumps us over here to a new page. So now, oh, look, now we see here, absolutely, Mike, that's exactly right. You're in it. All right. So look, this no longer right here. It used to have an area where right above phone number right here, it would give you their direct email. They've scrubbed their emails off the website. Tell me what kind of public servants these are. All right. They're supposed to be public servants. They're supposed to be meeting us where we are. They're supposed to be making it easier for us to communicate with them. They're supposed to be making it easier for us to be able to send them correspondence, letting them know what we expect of them. They are not supposed to just be running in there, running their own agendas. They're supposed to be working for us. How in the hell can they take direction for us if they take off the way that we can communicate to give them the direction? Because let me show you what they have done. Instead, what they've done here is they've sent this, share your feedback. Send me your feedback here. Put your feedback here. Let me tell them where to put their feedback, okay? So what you do is you come in here and you type in your name, you type in your last name, you type in your email address, you type in your phone number, your address, your city, your state, your zip code, and your topic, the subject of contact request, and the details. And so then you're supposed to type in here, okay, type, enter. Oh, look, they want you to type in something where you can't even make, it's just one. They want you to type out one solid line. That's nuts. You can't type a paragraph there. It's nuts. This is insane. And then what this does is this goes to one of their legislative assistants, and they look, and in my opinion, if your address doesn't come up in their district, they put you to the back of the pile. And then if your address comes up in their district, their legislative assistant looks at it. So you're not actually communicating with the state representatives when you're entering it in this way. That's not happening. It's just not happening. So my friends, let me tell you what I have been working on for you, for us to assist here. I'm gonna show you this right here. I have been working on compiling. I'm trying to figure out how to do this to show you. Okay, we'll do it like this. I have been working on compiling let's see if this is it. Yeah, there we go. There we go. All right. I have been working on compiling their emails, their actual emails, the actual emails for all of the state representatives, okay, for all of the state senators, because listen,
that's got to be a fucking nightmare, Christopher.
It is. It is. Let me show you.
Them.
Yeah, it is. And that's why I'm glad you just popped up. You popped up at the right time. So let me show you what I've got so far here, okay? I'm trying
he has
to
3, everyone. There's a grand total of 3 that he has.
No. I'm not happy with the state representatives side so far. So right now I have these state representatives, and the reason there's only that few is because I found a honeypot. I got in here with the senators, and I found like 30 of the senators, and I'm putting them in order. So what I'm attempting to do is, and I will have this done by the end of this evening, I'm going to have all of their emails and put together, and I'm going to have a list, and I'm going to send them out to everybody. And I'll publish them. They'll be out. You can all have them. And that way we can all email them. What I'm going to attempt to do is I'm going to put them in an email, and I'm going to put all 150 of them in the email and send it out. And then I can email it to whoever wants it, and everyone can have it. And I will do that. And the reason I said
the other way to do that,
yeah,
Christopher, to publish it would be to create an Excel spreadsheet.
I could do that, or put it in the drive.
Because then you can take that entire row where it's just the emails.
Yeah.
And copy and paste.
it. Yeah, we could do that. I can do that. Yeah.
Not everybody's going to have that.
Yeah, that wouldn't be bad. So yeah, we can do that. So just in any of your off time, if you're like Googling, so here's what I do. Here's what I do to find it. Because I have a couple of their emails. Like, for instance, JD's email, I have it. So what I've done is I go to Google, and I enter in on Google Indiana State Representative email. And then I type in JD Prescott's name, and then I put all state representatives next to it. And then it pops up and it shows me lists where some of their names are. So I've got I went to several different websites where it's had like this committee, and it's had like 4 of them or 5 of them listed, and I've pulled it off. And so that's how I found these. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to get it for everybody.
Because education coalitions that have a bunch of them.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. That's where I found a lot of the senators.
And then I found one that had the full list from 2017. I'm like, well, that doesn't bloody help.
Yeah, I would be.
Can you
a lot of those people would be there, but what? Yeah.
Can you update it though?
Yeah, right. So I'm working on putting those together. We will get those out, and I will get them to you, because here's what's going to happen. We have got to get emails to these people because they're voting on this and they don't know. One of the people I was talking to tonight, the reason they have such a hard on for this bill, the person was explaining to me that they had a situation in their area where at first in the story, it was an officer, a special deputy, a reserve, somebody that didn't have any training, didn't even have the 40-hour pre-basic, had just walked into someone's house, said they were there to search, and caused a great big deal. And it's been a nightmare. And I was like, yeah, I wouldn't like that either. Well, then as the story unfolded, I found out it wasn't a police officer. It was an ordinance man. And I'm like, an ordinance, I don't even know what you'd call them. The problem is I could hear some places calling them ordinance officers. I would never call them an ordinance officer.
Well, and
I would
like
call it
Winchester, our ordinance guy is a police officer.
Is a police officer. Yeah. Yes.
But in bigger towns, a lot of times they actually hire someone who's, you know, you're the ordinance compliance guy.
Yeah. And so they don't have a uniform, or their
they
uniform
don't have
looks
any
different.
Legal authority to arrest or anything.
Yeah,
They just
got
have
no
the
arrest
ability
powers.
to write you a ticket because you didn't mow your fucking grass.
Code enforcement. And the thing is, and if they don't,
perfect. Someone smart.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, they don't have the ability to search. They don't have the ability to seize. And if somebody goes in your house and goes crazy, sue the hell out of that person, sue the hell out of the town. There are ways to deal with that. We don't go and say, all right, we're putting this state law in place to screw everybody over. That makes no sense. Meanwhile,
we're going to crack down on reserve officers over a person who's not even a reserve. It's just a pogey boy who thinks he's important.
Yeah.
What a mess. So you're wanting me to help hunt down emails.
If you can help me with that, that would be fantastic.
Send me what you have so far.
Yeah. And so what we can do, we'll get that out. We'll get that out to everybody, and we'll get that to you ASAP. Anyone that wants to know it. Now, there you
go, Landon Dean. He's got it.
What?
Jeff Walls, a few bad situations by a few departments that don't have accountability cause some of this problem. Most of it is money and control.
Yeah.
A better answer would be more training requirements for reserves and more accountability by those who employ them. There are problems with tier 1 officers too.
Absolutely, Landon Dean. And I'll tell you,
thank you for watching, sir.
Yeah. And you've been in a position where you are obviously a 20+ year veteran of law enforcement. You were full-time for a sheriff's department. You're now the chief of a department, but you have taught so many reserves around and through your department that have went on to other, agencies, and you have had a big hand in that. You understand the importance here. And that's exactly what I was telling the representatives that I've talked to. This is a problem that you guys don't understand, because I was talking to one that didn't understand the difference between a city police officer and a sheriff's deputy, which basically there are no differences between the city of Muncie police officer and a Delaware County sheriff's deputy. They're the same thing technically. As far as what they do, as far as the tier 1 ILEA training they go through. But they didn't know the difference. They didn't know the difference between a reserve or marshal. They didn't know the difference between, what a tier 1, tier 2. I actually talked to somebody today who thought that tier 2, they're literally voting on this, and they thought that tier 2 was the 40-hour pre-basic. I said, how are you voting on this if you're not even aware of what you're voting on? Literally, they said to me, well, isn't tier 2, isn't that the 40-hour pre-basic? No, that's That's not that. Okay. So here's what I think I want to do so people are aware of what's happening. We are going to work on those emails. I will get them out to everybody. So are they qualified to be state representatives? Clearly not educated on these matters. Maybe we should put limitations on them. We should put limitations on them. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. We need to wake people up. The bitching on Facebook, keep it up. Do all of it you want to do. But divide some of it in half, because some of it is going to have to be calling these people up, emailing them, and going through that process. Because when I'm talking to them...
Just a point of order here, Christopher, on this bill. So if you look at 1186... and you look at bill actions. So 1130, the committee report from the Veterans Affairs and Public Safety said that they amend, do pass, and adopted. But they also, it's recommitted to the Committee on Courts and Criminal Code pursuant to a House rule. So it's got another committee it's got to go before. And looking at that committee, I am not seeing when they have their next meeting scheduled. So they don't have it up on they don't have their next meeting scheduled yet.
Wait.
For hearing this bill.
I feel like I was having a stroke through when you first came up. You, after point of order, say all of that again.
Oh my God. I looked up the bill in the IGA.
Okay.
So today it went to the Veterans and Public Safety Committee. Yes?
Yep.
They amended it, adopted it, recommended it to pass.
Yes.
They have a House bill that says now it has to go to the Committee on House, Courts, and Criminal Code.
Where do you see that?
Under bill actions.
All right, let's go take a look at that. Here we are. Pull this back up here because I want to look at this. I want to make sure that we're all aware of everything.
Make sure that I'm not looking at the wrong thing, but
1186 bill actions. All right, I see it.
Yeah.
So, okay, recommended to Committee on Courts and Criminal Code pursuant to House Rule 126.3. Okay, so that's good. Let's see who's on this. So they have scheduled meetings. They don't have any scheduled meetings.
Those are all passed. They don't have any coming up.
So let's see who is on this. All right, we've got Wendy McNamara, Jennifer Metzler. Oh, look, Steve Bartles is on this committee.
Oh, the guy that wrote it's on this one too. How convenient.
Yep, isn't that great? Garrett Bascom, Andrew Ireland, Chris Jeter, Jonah King, Gregory Stewart, Alex Zimmerman, Mitch Gore. And Mitch Gore apparently is an IMPD captain or something like this. I found this out. I did not know that. Maureen Bauer, Matt Pierce, and Robin Shackelford. Okay.
Jeremy, who deleted their post today?
Bartles. We're going to talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Sorry, I'm trying to do 5 things for you at the same time.
No, you're fine. That's absolutely right. Yeah, no. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. Yeah. Now here's the thing. And so let me explain to you. He deleted that. Okay, because he deleted that because he didn't want anyone to see the people that were coming out. That's why Facebook's fine, but it's not forever. Even when it's supposed to be, even when they can't do this because it's a violation, you know what? Okay, sue me, sue them. So, that's what they say. That's why we have to send emails, because emails are forever. They might not get the email, they can delete the email, but you have the receipt in your inbox, and it goes and it shows that it's sent through. So that's why we have to start emailing. Okay. Now, I want to, so my phone blew up today with this. So he did delete this, and there are people who have it in real time. Like, for example, they were screen recording Facebook, and he had like 15 comments on the page, and then he had 23 comments on the page, and then he had 33 comments on the page, and then mysteriously all of a sudden he had 15 comments on the page, then he had 10 comments on the page, and then the page was gone. So he created a post talking about passing this. Then he was being inundated, and he started going through and deleting comments. And then he just said, screw it, and deleted the page. Now, so I want to talk about what we've got to do to walk through this, where we go from here, but we'll get to that in a moment. Let's go ahead and stick with this. Bartles deleted the screenshots. So what I want to do, I want to show you, and thank you, Ron, for that email that you just sent. I appreciate that. So I definitely appreciate that. And let me tell you, I know I have some new people that are watching this. So first of all, I'm not a journalist. I don't consider myself a journalist. I'm not a journalist. I'm a political commentator. I've been involved with politics for over 40 years. Not over 40 years. I am 40 years old. I've been involved with politics since I was about 8 or 10 years old. That's nearly 40 years. So about 30 years, I guess we'll say 28, 30 years. I've been involved with politics in some way. Started in very, very young, going up and hanging out with family when I was 8, 9, 10, got involved. I've been involved with local politics, state politics, and national politics in one way or another all of my life. And so what I do is provide commentary and fight back against the corruption. I am a constitutionally minded, conservative-ish or conservative-leaning libertarian. That's where we are, and that's what the deal is. So I might get things wrong. If I do, I apologize. I come out with that as quickly as possible, and we move forward. But the difference between being a journalist and being a commentator, I don't have to give who my sources are. And if somebody doesn't like because I don't name a source, then that's fine. You don't have to believe what I'm telling you. What I like to try to do is educate and have some entertainment along with that. And I try to make our government better by citizen involvement. And so I do not burn sources. So all of you that are reaching out to me that are new, that aren't a part of this program, that have just started coming here in the last couple days, when you contact me, I always assume that the things that we discuss are off record unless you tell me otherwise. If you tell me flat out, you can use what I'm saying on your program, I'll come on your program, whatever, then that's what we'll do. Other than that, I do not burn sources, and I just want to put that out there so people can be aware. So I'm very careful when I show things. So that's just the reason why I want to make sure that you guys are aware of that. I want to pull this up because I want to show you the screen, but I'm trying to get it to where I'm not burning the person who gave it to me. Let me make sure that I can do this. Give me 1 second here. I'm pulling this up. Okay, it looks like I got this. Yeah, all right, right here we are. Okay, now it might be a little difficult to see because it's on Facebook. It's on Facebook. So let me show you kind of what we're looking at. So here is the screen. Here is the screen recording of Stephen Bartles. Is that how you say his name? Bartles? Yeah, I would think. Here's the screen recording of Stephen Bartles' page. You can see there it says Representative Stephen Bartles here. Okay. So this is the screen grab. Now look, he made a post. Let's go back and look at this. Let me go back and get this. Today, I presented House Bill 1186 on law enforcement matters and House Bill 1637 on school and public safety matters. Thank you to my fellow legislators for passing House Bill 1186 unanimously out of committee, and House Bill 1637 is held for further discussion. Follow the link below to learn more about both bills. Okay. And first of all, I want to tell you this. The committee for the Veterans Affairs and Public Safety is a committee that is made up of 13 state representatives, some Republicans and some Democrats. 3 of those members were absent today. 3 of them were absent. Okay, I got a real problem with this. State representatives only work 2 days a week for 3.5 months. So you're telling me you can't figure out a way to reschedule something or to get your ass down there to do what you need to do and to sit in there and to listen? I've got a real problem with that. All right. Now, forgive me, God forgive me. If there's a death in the family, perfectly excusable. All right. Now, honestly, you just put them on ice because they're already dead. They ain't going anywhere. But, I digress. I get I'm a little warped. You're excused, okay? You got a surgery or something comes up, you're in an accident, God forbid, totally excused. But short of that...
No, they were getting a haircut, Christopher.
Yeah, right.
You know how important that is.
Hey, I know, I understand. I get it. Look, I need a haircut. I'm 6 weeks out from needing a haircut. But I've been busy, so it's been on the back burner. All right, so I just wanted to say that. So there were 3 people missing, and I take massive offense to that because those are 3 people that could have been here arguing against this, could have said something to spark debate. 1 or 2 or 3 of those people could have said, wait a minute, I do want to hear from the people here testifying. One of them is State Representative Jim Lucas. He's supposed to be there fighting for the people. Jimmy boy, where were you, bro? All right. So let's continue on this screen recording and watch what happens here. Look, the page is gone. You can't comment. Content you're trying to react to is not available anymore. You can't comment. Look. So it went away. It went away, and they did do away with this. Now, let me tell you here, okay? Like this is a problem. I believe with my heart of hearts that this is a First Amendment rights violation. And specifically because, look, it's viewpoint discrimination, right? So, he's getting lawsuits. We've all called and filed complaints. That's what needs to happen. So here's what the deal is. In July of 2024, an elected official who just happened to be an elected sheriff had taken a video that I had recorded, and he had cropped parts out of that video to make it fit what he was saying, and he posted it on his campaign page. And I went into that video and he cropped out everything that showed that the video was mine. That's basically content theft. It's copyright infringement.
It was not his campaign page.
Oh no, it was the county page.
It had been his campaign
Yeah.
page.
Yeah. Well, that's right.
His official sheriff's page.
That's right. No, I couldn't think. Yeah, no, that's right. It was his. Yeah, exactly.
He had made it his official sheriff's page.
Yes, it was the official sheriff's page. That's exactly correct. Sorry. Whoops, about screwed that up. Thanks for producer Kate there. No, you're exactly correct. It's been a day. It was his official page. As a matter of fact, it's still his official page if you look at it. And he had posted this on there, and I commented and said, hey, can you at least, put the real video back up or attribute this video to us? That's all. And he deleted my comment, and then he blocked me from the page. And that's a problem. So we are currently in a federal civil rights violation suit for this exact issue. So I would recommend the people that are affected by this contact the ACLU, call the ACLU's office in Indianapolis and tell them what's happening, and reach out. Specifically, anyone that commented on that page. And what you guys need to do is you need to be talking to each other. You need to be talking to each other and maybe have like a spokesperson call the ACLU and give everyone's name and do that. Yeah, Joe Black almost lost the lawsuit right there. No, that's Kate. Kate was right. What I was thinking about was there's been question about what he's currently doing on another page that he has, because he's not supposed to be campaigning currently. He's not up for re-election until 2026, but he has been doing that. So a campaign page that he has separate from what I believe is this official page has been active, and I've been recently talking about that. So I've had campaign page on the brain, but Kate was right, and Kate spoke the truth there. Moving back to this, what Bartles did today was ridiculous. I've reached out to him about this. I've tried asking him. I want to have him on. I want to give him a chance to sit down and explain to me. And look, I don't know if he'll watch this. Bartles, if you're watching this, I'm not going to treat you like an asshole. I'm not, I don't know what your deal is. I'm not going to be mean. I'm not going to be disrespectful. Let's sit down and have a conversation. I want to hear what you've got to say. I want to offer some point and counterpoints to what you're saying and see how that holds up. You should be able to do that. You should be able to stand your ground and go back and forth with myself and a law enforcement officer or two. I don't think that that's something that's crazy. Matter of fact, Bartles, you can bring on any other state representative you want with yourself. So it can be like 2-on-2 and I'll be the moderator. We'll do whatever. I want to be able to hear from you and hear what this is, because I'm telling you, the people in the committee today seem confused. They seem very confused. Okay. And that's not a good thing. Literally, somebody that voted to approve this bill today, to pass this bill, thought that tier 2 was the 40-hour pre-basic. That's nuts. That's absolutely nuts. So, okay. Now, the other thing is the people that are here that are law enforcement officers. Have you seen this newest bill with the new amendments in it? Have any of you saw this? If any of you are interested in this, I'll get you a copy of this. There's money. Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, that's really strange. I want to get down and let us read. Let's look through this. So this whole bill is 44 pages long. Okay. And so basically you've got to kind of thumb through this and see what's happening here. And it essentially it's dealing with the entirety of what we think. So first up, they're talking about the whole aspect of this bill, which would be the law. So amended to read follows: effective July 1st, 2025. The board shall adopt in accordance with IC 422-2 all necessary rules to carry out the provisions of this chapter. The rules, which shall be adopted only after necessary and proper investigation and inquiry by the board, shall include the establishment of the following. And this goes heavy into it. All right. Consistent, uniform, statewide deadly force policy. So basically, a lot of things revolving around police action, what it means to be a police officer, and various things are related into this bill. What we're going to be looking for on this bill, and you'll see it here in a moment, is when something is in black ink, bold ink. So you'll see this. So this is going over trauma-informed interviewing, investigative techniques, minimum standards for de-escalation training, minimum standards regarding the best practices for crowd control, protest, and First Amendment activities. I mean, there's a lot in this, okay? And all of that stuff that it has been. All statewide policies, minimum standards shall be documented in writing and published at the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy website. Okay. It goes on and talks about law enforcement officers appointed after July 5th, 1972, but before July 1st, 1993, may not enforce the laws or ordinances of the state or any political subdivision unless the officer has, within 1 year from the date of appointment, successfully completed the minimum basic training requirements established under this chapter by the board. All right. So it goes down through all of this information. All right. And this is just standard. This is stuff that's already in this code. All right. So here we go. Now it says, before a law enforcement officer appointed after June 30th, 1993 completes the basic training requirements, the law enforcement officer may exercise police powers described in the subsection D, subject to the limitations provided in Indiana Code 10-10.55 if the officer successfully completes the pre-basic course established in the subsection F. Successful completion of the pre-basic course authorizes a law enforcement officer to exercise the police powers described in subsection D for 1 year after the date of the law enforcement officer is appointed. Okay, so that's there. All right. And we'll come down here and take a look at where we start to see, big change here. Okay. And first up, I believe we'll look at this. Okay. Still talking about old stuff. Okay, here we go. So, notwithstanding any other law, all deputies, excluding reserve deputies, employed. Now, listen to this. Notwithstanding any other laws, all deputies, excluding reserve deputies, employed by the Marion County Sheriff's Office on July 1st, 2025, employed by the Sheriff's Office on July 1st, 2025, shall be certified by the board as Tier 1 law enforcement officers. The board shall transmit certificates to the of the certifications and other related documentation to the Marion County Sheriff's Office not later than September 1st, 2025. The Marion County Sheriff's Office shall provide the board with information necessary for the board to process certifications under this subsection. After June 30th, 2025, the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy, located in Plainfield, Indiana, shall admit individuals newly hired by the Marion County Sheriff's Office in the same manner and proportion as other law enforcement agencies, provided that the individuals are hired as full-time employees of the Marion County Sheriff's Office. So there's where they just magically made all of that Tier 1. Poof, there you are. Okay. Now, let's come on down here. And here is where it, as used in this chapter, public safety officer means any of the following. And they go down through state police officer, county sheriff, county police officer. And then here's where they put in for the death benefits, the correctional professional, which includes correctional officer, correctional police officer, or any employee of the Department of Correction. And then the old stuff is down here in light, regular font. Okay. And this is all standard. That's been standard. Okay. Then we see here, correctional professional, which includes a correctional officer as defined in correctional police officer, any employee of the Department of Correction. So we see that there. They've got that in there. And then now we get here, and in section 5, as amended, amended to read as follows: effective July 1st, 2025, for the purpose of this section. Now we're talking about the highway work site. So we can see all of this is the highway stuff. This has been changed. This has been changed. We see a change here. We see stuff that's been marked out, stuff that's been added. Okay, now, right here, this is page 14, and we are on line 38. This is where, for the first time, we're going to come into the crux of what the issue is here. Limitations of police powers for certain law enforcement officers. As used in this chapter, board has the meaning set forth in 52122. Used in this chapter, law enforcement agency has the meaning set forth in 52128. Section 3 is used in this chapter. Police powers refer to law enforcement officers' authority described in that code, except as provided in Section 5. A law enforcement officer, including a constable, a school resource officer, a special deputy, or a reserve, who has completed a pre-basic course, but who has not completed Tier 1 or Tier 2 basic training requirements established by the board, may not exercise police powers outside of their jurisdiction for the appointing law enforcement agency. Now, let me tell you, I was talking to a state representative who said, well, they can still work security. They can still work security. All they have to do is work it in a security uniform. I said, you don't understand. The fact that these people have police power is why they're permitted to work security. Okay? If they cannot use their police power, it don't matter what uniform you put them in, plain clothes or whatever, if they cannot use the police power, what people don't understand is in the force continuum, all right, use of force, the officer presence and the uniform and the marked police car is the first level of the use of force, the force continuum. Just that officer presence will deter most crime. All right? Now, the presence of a uniformed security guard is going to do the same thing to some people, but a lot of people...
Yeah, but you think of it like night at the museum.
Yeah.
That's a security guard.
Yeah, right.
He just walks around. If somebody breaks in, he can tell them to leave. But he has authority inside the building. But he can't do anything if they act violently or they steal something. He has to call the police.
Yeah, right.
So that's the point of having a uniformed officer.
With arrest power.
Police powers there.
Yeah.
Because it takes out one more action that needs to be taken before someone, can face actual penalties for what they're doing.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah,
You're removing a step. You're removing a phone call and a wait for cops to get there by having a uniformed person.
Sure. Well, and for example, like the NFL, when the NFL takes over Lucas Stadium, they require so many actual law enforcement officers to be present. Their contract with Lucas Oil says that they have to have actual law enforcement officers to be a part of that process. They can't do what they need to do, and they won't do what they need to do with a bunch of people that are quote unquote security guards. Now, I do see where Bad Cop has said they need to do the job with whatever they're going to be and supply their own equipment. Most reserves supply their own equipment. It's not equipment given or provided by the agency. Most of them are buying their own duty equipment, their own guns, their own bulletproof vests, their own uniforms. Really the only thing in a lot of cases that's provided to the reserves in a lot of cases, are the badge, maybe a badge or two badges, an ID, and a taser in a lot of cases. All right, you don't want me to take a taser to the security gig, I'll leave it here. But that's the other thing. The other bottom line is the conversation I had a conversation with a state representative, one of the state representatives I talked to, and I said, here's the problem that I have. You guys are attempting to control an issue with this legislation. We're just trying to throw laws at it because that's what you guys do down there. What we need to do is we need to be training all officers more and better. Reserves, more training. Tier 2, more training. Tier 1, more training. Tier 3, and more training. And we need to be training the chiefs and the sheriffs and the marshals better. We need to be having a better understanding with the state, with the town councils and the city councils and the mayor. And there needs to be a better control there. Everybody knows if you have a bad reserve or you have a bad officer, the department should be chomping down on that and dealing with that. And that's what needs to be happening. This law is way overreaching. There are issues. There are serious issues with that. And when there's a screw up, it needs to be handled and dealt with quickly. But this is too much. Now, I do want to ask a question, Sean. My question, you said that going to tier 1, we do not have the option to complete tier 1 or tier 2. Explain that to me. I want to make sure. I think I know what you're saying, but I want you to explain to me. Explain to me what you mean by that. Because from my understanding, my knowledge, and I've known people who've done this at departments, say someone working for Gaston Police Department. They are town marshals. Man, did that change? Because I know that there was a time when, as long as a department would sponsor you, you could go. Wow. Okay. So okay. Wow. Did that change at some point? Has that changed at some point in the last 20 years? Yeah. That's a shame. For them to be screaming training, but we can't access the training. Yes, I think within 7 years. Okay. Yes. No. All right. So Landon Dean says, beyond security in Indianapolis, this is concerning locally. If there is a reserve on duty in Middletown or Cadiz, and there is an active shooter at Shenandoah, which is 2 miles away outside of town limits, they could not go to the emergency because they wouldn't be police officers outside of their respective towns. Listen, and here's what kills me, okay? When I was saying this to state representatives that I was talking to today, they were like, no, that, that you can do if it's doing, it's like, no, look, guys, you have to read this black and white. You have to read those black hieroglyphs on the white page. And when it says that you can't leave your jurisdiction, quote unquote jurisdiction, and you can't, activate your specialized police powers outside of your jurisdiction unless there's an MOU, you can't go to that school shooting. Now, I don't know any one of the officers on here that would let that stupid shit stand in their way, but what happens when you go and you're doing something and something bad happens and somebody sues somebody, and then you're in a world of hurt. So you're talking about this, but yeah, that Landon, you are reading that correct. You are reading that correct. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. That part of the hearing today was for school safety. But yeah, part of this hearing today was for school safety. But this House bill also takes away some school SORs. Yes, that's exactly correct. That's exactly correct. Yes. you know, and that's the thing. It's it's frustrating because let me get down here to where that was. That's on page 22. Okay, so you know, okay, notwithstanding, except provided a law enforcement officer described in subsection A may not wear or display on their person or vehicle an insignia identifying themselves as a law enforcement officer while engaged in off-duty employment. Nothing in this subsection shall preclude the law enforcement officer from displaying an insignia on their person or vehicle when traveling to and from law enforcement officers resident to work for the appointing law enforcement agency. Section 5A, notwithstanding any other law except as provided in subsection B, a law enforcement officer described in section 4A of this chapter may exercise police powers only when the law enforcement officer is carrying out the duties of the law enforcement agency that appointed the law enforcement officer within the geographic jurisdiction of the appointing law enforcement agencies, unless the law enforcement officer is engaging in the pursuit. So if somebody is in Caddis and you're pulling them over at First and you know, whatever streets in Caddis, and they start running, yep, you can pursue them out of Caddis. Apprehension, you can apprehend them out of Caddis if the crime started in Caddis. You can arrest them. You can search, investigation. If an individual outside of the geographic jurisdiction of the appointing law enforcement agency for a violation of a law that occurred within the geographic jurisdiction of the appointing law enforcement agency, so that's fine. But in your example, they cannot go for what in my day was mutual aid agreements, where, you know, this small town answered calls for service for the county and the county helped out this small town. And, you know, listen, I'm thinking back to July of 2023 in Muncie when we had that big homecoming event and we had a mass shooting event happening at Hackley and what was that? Willard, Hackley and Willard. And you've got people getting ran over and people getting shot, and the police were calling. We had law enforcement officers coming to the assistance of MPD from Albany. We had officers coming from Hartford City. We had officers coming from Newcastle. We had officers coming from Anderson. Hell, there were officers coming from Ohio. And Muncie just kept calling them. More and more and more and more. Elwood showed up. Gas City showed up. Dude, Gas City is a haul. Even running Signal 10, man. That is hot. That is a call. And then, while that scene is going on, another scene starts occurring outside the hospital. So now once they've already called all of those people in and they're already at the scene, now we've got another scene going on at Ball Hospital where it was just complete madness. Think about last summer when we had the tornadoes in Winchester and everybody came to help. That means they couldn't do that anymore. Man, listen to me. Ugh.
If they pass this, it's going to be a case of every single town in Indiana is going to have to get a hold of every other town within an hour around them and set up MOUs. Or these small towns aren't going to make it. We needed every hand we could get when that tornado went through Winchester. Every hand. reserve, active, fire departments, if first responder, if you could come and help, we needed you. You know, they're going to have to do that, or we're all just fucked.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying some towns play politics for whatever reason, so they won't sign them if they don't like the such and such or what. That's the problem. You'll get into the political game. You'll get into the political bullshit. And like, yeah, for example, you Sproles isn't signing any MOU with a small town. Can backup from other counties, districts still come with approval, though? Well, if they sign the MOU ahead of time. So what you need to do is, for example, and you got on here and you talked about it. So, okay, Jeremy Dye. He's the jail commander for the Delaware County Sheriff's Department. He has been an active reserve officer for over 20 years at this point. Is currently an officer in a community. For those of you in the area that know Wapahani, he's in that area. And the school that is the school system for the area that he is in, the school is outside of the actual town. So as he said here, Wapahani High School is outside of my jurisdiction, and I cannot respond to an active shooter there. Yeah, Teresa, they are. Now, okay. So, emergency situations are addressed in your town, but there's nothing that there's nothing that defines what that is ahead of time. Okay. And so let me take you down, because here's where the people that are in love with this bill are going to tell us we're wrong. Okay. Let me show you. Let me show this to you. Okay. Let's come down here to page 22. Here we are, page 22. And let's look at lines 23 through 27. Subject to Indiana Code 1010.5-5, police reserve officers may not be members of the regular police department, but have all the same police powers as regular members, except as limited by the rules of the department. Each department... no, wait a minute. What was my section? Hold on. Let me find out what this section was. Oh, no. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. So this is what I was looking at. Sorry. So what I was looking at here was right here. Look, police reserve officers are may not be members of the regular police department, but have all the same police powers as regular members, except as limited by the rule of the department. Each department may adopt rules to limit the authority of police reserve officers. That's already in play. So if you want to limit what people can do in your specific department, do that. We don't need this bill to do that. It's like they feel like we need this bill for chiefs and for mayors and for town councils and city councils to dictate what goes on their department. We don't need this bill for that. Going back up here, to answer what GW was talking about. Okay, yeah, right here. Okay. So, notwithstanding other law and except for provided in subsection B, a law enforcement officer described in section 4A of this chapter may exercise police powers only when the law enforcement officer is carrying out the duties of the law enforcement agency that appointed the law enforcement officer within the geographic jurisdiction of the appointing law enforcement agency, unless the law enforcement officer is engaging in the pursuit. So if a pursuit happens in Caddis, in Daleville, in Yorktown, in Selma, they can pursue outside of that area to catch that person. All right, they can make that arrest. If if the crime happens there and the bad guy walks out and the police officer's pursuing them, they can do that. All right. Investigation of an individual outside the geographic jurisdiction of the appointing law enforcement agency for a violation of a law that occurred within the geographic jurisdiction of the appointing law enforcement agency. The law enforcement officer is transferring an individual outside the jurisdiction of the appointing law enforcement agency under the direction of the appointing law enforcement agency. So like you're taking somebody to jail. Exigent circumstances necessitate the use of police powers. Now here, there are whole podcasts devoted to defining what exigent circumstances are. There are whole sections of police, law enforcement, law books, classes, and furthermore, those all set forth to argue what exigent circumstances are or they're not. Police officers use exigent circumstances all the time to do this or that. They also get sued all the time because people say that's not, So like, I think Ron said it, I'm not going to be sued. Let's be real. We all know the offending agencies use the power of the state government to take them out. Absolutely. Yeah. No, I understand, GW. Would a bill like this prevented the tragedy that happened in Muncie with the lady in the Jeep? No. Nope. No, it would not have. And I'll tell you why. Because the infraction occurred in his community and the pursuit started in his community. And so, no, it would not have. Ron, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And listen, the bottom line, there's a lot of law enforcement officers in here and they're talking about this and they're all upset. I'm telling you, people just don't know what's happening right now. That people are not following along with this. This is going to be a problem for a lot of people if this goes through. Now, all right, before let's not talk about what's going to happen because we're going to defeat this. It's going to be hard. It's an uphill battle, but it's going to be hard. So Kate found it. I didn't see that. I've been on the phone all day today, and I actually did not see where they said that this has to also go now to the other committee. My belief and my opinion is, unless they pull some kind of crazy shit, that the courts and criminal code members, okay, when it goes to that committee, they will have to allow testimony. It is my belief that they will have to allow testimony. Now, I think that this bill could be killed there. I think that absolutely, Ron. Absolutely. So I think that this bill can be killed at that committee if it's not voted on. So, and I want to be clear about this, okay? And we've got to get real tough on this. When you go in to committee and say we're fortunate enough to be able to pack the room, standing room only, there's 100 people in there. And they're all there to speak out against this. Bartles is going to say, well, if we've got people that are here saying the same thing, just come up and say you agree, or just say that you agree with that speaker and let's move on. No, we're not doing that. No, we're not doing that. We all have a First Amendment right to speak. You work for us. You are public. This is the one thing, everybody always tells cops, you work for us. We pay your bills. We pay your salary. It's the cops' turn to say this to the people now. We tell the public servants, the state representatives of this committee, you work for us. You are going to hear from all of us. You need to hear from all of us. So we have to push, and it might be uncomfortable. It might be uncomfortable. I can't tell you how many meetings I've been at, a public meeting, and I've been trying to speak, as is my First Amendment right, and I've had some dumbass city council person go and get a law enforcement officer, and some law enforcement officers walked up to me and told me, and I've had to get tough and be like, no, I'm not going anywhere. I've got a First Amendment right, and I'm fine with that. I have no problem with that. I've been arrested for speaking in a public meeting. The prosecutor's office declined to file charges, and it resulted in a First Amendment federal rights lawsuit in which the city of Winchester lost bigly. The chief of police retired after losing. The mayor lost his race for state representative. City councilor quit. The fire chief quit. And they bought a lot of my equipment here. So, same thing goes for state representatives. You can sit here and listen to all of us. That's what you get paid for. Your meetings aren't very long. Normally, you're able to blast through them, but we are going to be heard, and we need to hear them. But even outside of that, folks, we have to email these people. We have to email these people. We will get a list put together for you. All right. So a couple things I want to tell you. Number one, we need to continue. I hope all of you new law enforcement officers, I hope that you've all subscribed to the channel. Follow me on social media. Send me a friend request. You can find all of my stuff for social media. You can find it all right here. Facebook.com/Bilbrey318. Kristopher H. Bilbrey on Facebook. Send me a Facebook friend request. Find me on X. I'm Bilbrey Live on X. And I will keep you posted on when the court, when the next when the next committee meeting is, courts and criminal code. I will let you guys know when that meeting is. We got to stay vigilant. We need to be emailing all of them. But listen, let's not just focus on those members. We need to send this out to all of the state representatives, but let's not just stop there. We also need to email the state senators. We need to be letting all of these people know, hey, we've got a hot moving bill here, and we need to do whatever we need to do to kill it. We need to reach out to everybody. And the ways that we can kill this are a couple of different ways. We can reach out and talk to the members of the courts and criminal codes. I believe that they can kill it by not voting for it. I think that is one way. If they vote for it, then it will go on to the full House, and it could be killed there. If it passes there, it goes on to the Senate, at which point it will be assigned to committee, and it could be killed there. It could be killed at the full Senate. But even if it passes, we can still protest to the governor to veto it. Now, I don't know that he would, but he said during his campaign that he listens to law enforcement. I will listen to law enforcement. So let's find out if Mr. Braun, Governor Braun, will do what he said he would do. But what we have to do is get people involved. I understand how great and how fun it is to get on Facebook and to blast them on Facebook. Continue doing that. But at least some of the time you have to spend contacting state representatives. Call their offices, leave messages, talk to the state legislative assistants. Talk to do that. When we get the email list, I will send the email list out. I will put the email list in the description of this episode. I will put it in the comments. I will get it to you guys. Now, the other thing that I wanted to say was, if anybody is interested in coming on and talking about this and explaining why this is so detrimental to you, I would be fine with having you guys come on. Maybe we could do a show, do a special show where we have several of you come on and talk about why this is
episode on this might be fantastic, Christopher.
Yeah. I think that would be good. Talking about why this is detrimental. And, then we can send that link out and send it to all of them. We can email it to them. We can let them know, if you are interested in being on the program, you can do one of two things. Email the program right there at tpsprogram@gmail.com. Or for those of you that have already reached out to me on Facebook, you can reach out to me on Facebook. I would be interested in having you on. Now, I understand. I don't know. Maybe your departments don't go for that, or you have policies against it. We can talk about it. If you need to do it without naming the department or whatever, we'll figure out a way to do it. We'll figure out a way to do it. But
conveniently on here, you don't have to show your picture, and you get to pick your own name.
Yeah, that is true. Oh, that is true. Yeah. You guys could come on like this, and you don't have to have your picture up there. It could be a picture of anything, and you could come on with a pseudonym. So, we can definitely hide you if you need be hid. So that is definitely not a problem. So we can definitely help that out. But I'm definitely interested in trying to provide that. Let me see what are you saying here, Ron? You said something about badge. You just said badge. Was there? Are we missing something? So, is there anyone here, or you can call, text the studio line there, that is, all that information is there. Is there anybody, are there any questions? Does anyone have any concerns, something that we haven't talked about? You know, I feel like the thing that we've got to do is we have to do, this is something that happens with cops. You're good at talking to each other, but not very good at explaining to the public maybe what's necessarily going on and how you need help. And I'm telling you, this is a situation where you're not going to be able to do it alone. We're not going to be able to do this alone. We need people that aren't cops to help here. He free balls it. We need to get people, citizens, invested in the fight too, and we need people that aren't law enforcement officers to reach out to these folks. And I'm going to continue trying to talk to Bartles. I'm going to continue hitting the other state representatives as a part of the committee that already voted on this. I'm going to try to talk to them, as well as I'm going to start reaching out to the others on the court and criminal code so we can do that. All right, Ron. Yeah, we can. I would love to chat with you. I can set up a time, and we can set up a time. Even if we need to do it earlier, we can do a special show, and we'll make it work. We can have people come on at the beginning, come on at the end. We'll make it work, because I want to have. I'd like to have a big grouping of people, where we can have up to 100 people on the feed. Now, I think at a time, I think that might be a little much. That would be cool, but I would definitely like to have a show where we can find out why. Make this. We need to personalize this for the people, and we need to, very Muppet Show like. Yeah, absolutely. We need to personalize this for the representatives. I'm going to tell you, there are some of the state representatives, not many, but that are good people, and they're just being snowed on this. And so I think that we can help them out by making it personalized. Yeah. If you can tell him to shoot me a message, or send me a message send me a message. I forget who it is. I think I talked to him in the past, but I need to somehow get in contact with him, because I would love to have him on. So if somebody, if you know someone, have them get a hold of us, or we'll get in contact with them one way or another. So we're not done with this. I'm sure we'll do more shows about this. This will be a big bill. There are other bills that I'm following that I'm just as passionate about. They're currently in a holding pattern, so we'll just keep waiting to see what goes on. But hey, Rex, you tried to call me right as I was going on. Yeah, town hall style show. I would definitely be down for that. I will. I have your number, and I started to call you. I went into the BMV today, and I was there a lot longer than I needed to be. I will call you. Are you available in the morning? Because now I have your number. I don't have your number. Wait, no, yeah, you did. You sent it to me. So I do have your number. So I will be able to call you. If you're free in the morning, I'll call you. Or if you just let me know when you're available, I'll call you then. And because I'm definitely interested on your input too. I'm not trying to give you the shaft. I was on the phone my phone rang off the hook today, and that's just on this stuff. My phone's still been ringing and people texting on regular stuff. So this has just been it's just been a day. So we're not done with this by any stretch of the imagination. We need to fight. It's an uphill battle. I'm not gonna lie to you. We have an uphill battle on our hands. The chances of defeating this are way slimmer today than they were yesterday. And I was so disgusted at them for not taking testimony today. It makes me sick that they did that and that they wasted the time. It just goes to show you how little they think of the people who they are supposed to be working for. And I don't know. We're gonna have to do something to make this a big deal. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for coming on. Please spread the word, share the show, do everything like that you know to do. We'd very much appreciate it. Hit the like button before you leave. I know that seems small and it doesn't matter, but we do this for free. We don't charge you guys anything. We don't ask anything of you. All that we do ask of you is to watch and then to share and to like. If you can do those three things, our ads and everything else will do the rest. So this is a full-time gig for us, and we like to be able to help the people when we can help the people. So all we would ask is that you hit that like on your way out. Maybe copy the link, share it on your Facebook wall, put in your own little story about it. Hey, this is about the House Bill 1186. We're battling House Bill 1186. We need your help battling House Bill 1186, and we'll continue doing it like that. So thank you all. If you want to stay up to date and about the correspondence on this, when we'll do other shows about this, watch Facebook, my Facebook, Kristopher H. Bilbrey, and watch Twitter. I'm going to be there because between Facebook and Twitter, I can tag a majority of the representatives so I can keep them posted about what's going on and keep them knowing that we are coming. I told the representative that said that they had heard from 0 people speaking bad about this. I said, well, let me tell you, you're somehow in a black hole, because that's wrong. There are a lot of people that are pissed off about this. So I did explain that, and I tried to explain the difference in the things that this person was wrong about. But I've got another call to make with that person tomorrow, and several more that I'm going to be speaking with. So I'll keep you guys posted. Thank you all for everything. We will be on here tomorrow. Now, tomorrow, we're going to take a step back from this. We're going to be talking about some things in Madison County. We're going to have one of our special contributing correspondents on, Catherine Callahan. Dr. Callahan's going to be on, and we'll be talking about all of the insanity going on in Madison County. She's filed another complaint against one of the former elected officials over there, campaign finance violation. So we'll be talking about that and a lot more. You're going to want to tune in. We're normally off on Fridays. Tonight normally would be our last night, and we would be ready for a break Friday and Saturday. But no. Since we weren't here on Tuesday preparing for last night's show, we will be here tomorrow. Tough it out. We'll do a Friday show, and we'll go from there. So you guys hang tight. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. Have a beautiful Friday, and we'll see you back here tomorrow at 9 p.m., God willing. You guys take care. God bless each and every one of you. For all the law enforcement officers out there, be safe. Hang tight. We'll get this figured out one way or another. And as long as you guys are constitutionally minded and doing right, you will always have support here. So, all right, you guys take care. God bless, and goodbye.